That intellectual giant of left-wing politics, Diane Abbott, is in the news again, doing what she does best, complaining about racism and being a victim. I really couldn't care less about this woman. She's been in politics for 40 years and has no tangible achievements to her name. But before we dismiss Diane's hurty feelings, let's have a quick jaunt through some of her own unusual ideas. In the 80s, she was a supporter of the IRA. Yes, those terrorist murderers. She dismissed that by saying, well, I've changed my hairstyle. You might think changing your mind on murdering people for political ends is quite a bit different to a change of haircut, but Di doesn't seem to. Then, of course, we had her own son being sent to private school when Labour was publicly opposed to these. Rules for thee, pleb, but not for me. She ludicrously claimed that Sasha Johnson was shot for standing up for racial justice. Whatever you may think of Miss Johnson, she was shot by a black person. Her shooting had very little to do with racial justice. This was a wretched claim to make. Most egregiously, she said the biggest mass murder in human history, namely Chairman Mao, had on balance done more harm than good. Yes, really. Imagine describing a mid-20th century German politician with a moustache as being a net positive because he built some autobahns. Mao, of course, killed far, far more people. Both Diane and her son attended Cambridge University, the latter getting a plum job in the British Embassy in Rome before being sectioned for being a violent drug criminal. I'm sure young James got into Cambridge with 4 grade A's at A-level and was offered the job at the embassy quite legitimately on merit, and there was no nepotism. But I have to ask myself, after such a disastrous failure of a political career, which has involved a lot of moaning but little else, after being given so much by the United Kingdom, perhaps it's time to retire or try something else. If she was going to do any good, she would have done it by now. So I'll finish with Cromwell's speech to Parliament in 1653. It is not fit that you should sit here any longer. You've sat here too long for any good you've been doing lately. Depart, I say, and let us have done with you.